and now I can honestly say at 42 years of age that it wasn't my fault. But I would have said, I would not have really, I might have said that 10 years ago. Like, I'm 42, and when I was 32, I still, maybe I would tell you that it's not my fault, but I would say that it would be 75% not my fault, and a little bit I would say that it was still, I had it coming, I agreed to it, I let things happen. Like, I don't think people realize, unless it's actually happened to you, the magnitude of what it does to a human being and how difficult it is to switch and come back to it like a normal citizen.
Yeah, Jason, I'm so glad you made that powerful sort of testimonial, because people think that this is like no big deal. I mean, they get it when it happens to the girls on Ahita. They say, okay, well, but earlier in the beginning of the show, we were talking about a male that acted and participated in this sort of thing, and Jason's here to tell you it affects you.
It affects you, yeah. And you talked about the fact that they thought he was a cool teacher, that he hung out with the kids. He was so popular because I think if these allegations are true, that he's a serial pedophile because he knew how to pick his victims. He gave them cigarettes. He went to parties with them. He knew how to build their trust. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these victims did come from dysfunctional households. They were vulnerable. You always talk about that on your show.
Well, Sam, do we know anything about that? Is there any information?
Well, I do know that he was very calculated. And first of all, the police have found like 3 computers, hard drives full of videos and responses and text messages, thousands of text messages and hardcore evidence suggesting that all of these claims are true. And first of all, Dr. Drew, he thinks he's so smart because he would be so calculated to the point where he would not have actual sex acts with the students that were under the age of 17 in the fear that he would ever be pinned for statutory rape.
But he took this one that he groomed for 4 months to some sort of sex club.
Yes.
Yeah, crazy.
And then to nude beaches. Yeah. He's so entitled
These are all
to
allegations, all allegations.
Allegedly,
and Denise, my question to you is, before we have to go to break, is there any way this is fabricated, or any way that this is being piled on in some way, or where there's smoke, is there necessarily fire?
From what I understand, this guy was like taking photographs of his member and sending it like into cyberspace to these girls, right? So,
yeah, Snapchat.
I mean, once you've got some evidence like that, there's really not a whole lot else that you need. I mean, everything else is kind of piling on, but this guy is definitely sending inappropriate text messages and photographs to these girls. So, you know, it kind of seems like a bit of a smoking gun to me.